What's up, guys? So, on this particular video, we'll be discussing about traveling to Leh Ladakh in July. So, what you should be expecting in the first half of July compared to what it'll be in the second half of July. So, the first half, we're considering it to be the 1st to the 15th of July, and the second half would be from 16th to 31st of July. So, starting off with the first half, the weather is going to be much more cooler in the starting of July. So, if you're someone who wants to experience Leh Ladakh at its coldest, in the month of July, then you should be going there from the 1st to the 10th because the temperature will be much cooler compared to the second half. In the first half, the daytime temperature will range from anywhere between, I would say, 18 degrees to 27, 28 degrees, while the temperature at night will be anywhere between 5 degrees to 15, 16 degrees, while the temperature in the second half will range from anywhere between, I would say, 22 degrees in the daytime to 30, 35 degrees in the day. This entirely depends on where you are, while the temperatures in the night will be anywhere between, I would say, 17, 18 to maybe 22, 24. Now, this temperature fluctuation entirely depends on where you are and which part of Ladakh you are in. In places like Pangong, it's going to be much cooler, while in places like Hundar in Nubra Valley, it might be a little bit warmer. Even in Leh, it can be warmer than what it is in the places which are close to the lake and away from where the main civilization is. So now starting off with the route, in the first half of July, the route is going to be flawless. From Srinagar and from Manali, you wouldn't really face any kind of hassles or difficulties when you're traveling to Ladakh. But in the second half of July, if you're coming from Srinagar and Manali, there might be a little bit of problem because of the rains, which causes floods and roadblocks because of landslides. This heavy rainfall in the month of July can hamper your travel from both Srinagar and Manali. So be very careful when you're traveling. Careful in the sense, like if you're planning a short trip, which is for 7, 8 days, you might end up losing a couple of days because of roadblocks, which can hamper your return or your start of journey. If you're someone who's planning a trip to do the entire circuit, starting in Srinagar, ending in Manali, and vice versa, you need a minimum, I would say, of 10 to 12 days in the month of July. Be it in the start or the second half, you need more time. More time gives you the flexibility. In fact, it will give you a more enriching trip. And the flexibility comes handy because you have to be prepared to lose one day because of any kind of landslides or roadblocks that is going to eventually happen because of rainfall. The road via Manali can also shut because of heavy rain. Heavy rain in Manali leads to snowfall near Baralacha and Sarchu, which causes the road to shut. This is also possible in the month of July. If you're someone who's traveling to Ladakh to experience snow and snowfall, the first half of July is ideal where you'll get it. By the second half, it is actually summer in Ladakh while it's raining in the other parts of India. Ladakh is relatively safe in terms of monsoon. It's going to be a dry period, and with this dry period, what comes in is extreme heat in Ladakh. So this extreme heat will result in a snow melting. So by default, the snow cover in Leh Ladakh in the second half of July is starting to diminish, I would say. Now, what are the pros of visiting Leh Ladakh in the first half? Fresh snowfall at the passes, which is really possible at Kardungla, Changla, and Baralacha, depending on if the weather gods are with you. The first half of July will have lush greenery when you're traveling from Manali and from Srinagar because the monsoon has already started. So by default, you'll get a very picturesque view while traveling. Tourists in Ladakh in the first half of July will be very limited because by default it is not the tourist season for Ladakh. The month of June is gone and all the families have moved away. Clear skies, the weather is going to be extremely good. If you're someone who's traveling to Leh Ladakh for nightlife photography, the month of July, the first half is the excellent time to be going there. There are a few cons of traveling to Ladakh in July in the first half of July. The first one being the passes might still be clearing up with snow because of fresh snowfall that's possible because of rain in the lower parts. So this can hinder your experience and can maybe limit your movement. Other than that, the first half of July is a far better time to be going there compared to the second half when landslides are a real issue if you're traveling via Manali because this can really hamper your entire movement. The second half of July, which starts from 16th to 31st, that's the period that we've taken. The pros would be it's more accessible terrain in terms of everything is accessible. The snow has melted. There is plenty of daylight in Ladakh. The days will be really, really long. So you have plenty of time to move around. For people who like warmer temperatures, the month of July is ideal to be going there. If you are someone who's planning to fly in and out of Leh Ladakh directly by taking a flight, just remember that you need to book a flight anytime between, I would say, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Do not book a flight after that, because most of the flights after 8:39 in the morning start getting cancelled, because it becomes really, really hot and takeoff becomes a real issue for them in Leh. So just make sure that you book an early morning flight as early as you can, so that you do not have your flight rescheduled. In the month of July, in the second half, is when the festivals also start opening up in Ladakh. The monastery festivals, like the Hemis festival, is going to be happening in the second half of July. The nights are warmer, like I mentioned in the start of the video. So, for someone who wants to sleep peacefully without feeling too cold, the month of July, the second half, is at its best. If you want to go there to experience the apricots, even though there's no apricot festival, but in the village of Turtuk and maybe in other few villages in Hundar, in Nubra Valley, sorry, you will find plenty of trees with apricots where you can pluck and eat them if the villagers are fine with you. Just make sure that when you're traveling in the second half of July, you have a couple of buffer days if you're trying to do the entire circuit. If you're planning on just flying in and out of Leh, anywhere between 7 to 8 days is more than enough to experience and explore everything in Ladakh. The biggest con of visiting Leh Ladakh in the second half of July is the onset of monsoon in the gateways to Ladakh, rather, from Manali and Srinagar, which will definitely cause landslides. I can't predict any kind of flash flood, but landslides will definitely happen because that's the kind of rain that is expected. More tourists is the crowd. More tourist crowd is expected in the second half of July, because that is when the flight cost really drops. So you'll get a return flight from Delhi for as low as 8 to 10,000 rupees. So if you're someone who's looking for a really affordable package to Ladakh, then the month of July is also a very good time to be going for adventure activities in Leh Ladakh. So if you're someone who's planning on going trekking or want to experience other adventure activities like river rafting, the month of July is the perfect time to be going there. The second half is in fact a better time to be going there as compared to the first half. So by default, if you're someone who's going to Ladakh and you have a couple of spare days because of what I mentioned in the video, because of landslides, and you do not know what to do because your trip has gone flawless, you can always spend a day rafting. A day in Ladakh rafting will take you the entire day from morning 8 a.m. to, I would say, you come back in the afternoon by 2:33. So that's a day well spent. Rafting is extremely safe in Leh. It happens in the Zanskar River. It's a once in a lifetime experience, and by default, you can book it in Leh town. It costs anywhere, I think, between 1,500 to 2,500 rupees, depending on the number of people and the kind of rafting you're doing, whether you're going for longer rafting or you're going for a shorter one, depending entirely on what you want. It includes pickup, drop, and your food, your lunch, basically. So now, if you are planning a trip to Leh Ladakh in the month of July and are confused about how to go about it, we do have trips happening in the month of July. You can click on the link in the description of this video, and you'll find all the details related to our trip to Leh Ladakh. You can directly book via our website, or you can WhatsApp our team related to our trip queries. If you have any queries related to the trips we have and you want to book a private trip or a group trip, you can WhatsApp us before you book if you have any doubts. But if you have any doubts related to your own personal trip to Leh Ladakh, then you have to book a private consultation, which will cost you money. The link is also in the description. Just make sure that before you go to Leh Ladakh, you have all the essential gear that you need, because traveling to Ladakh with substandard gear can be a real problem. Carry an umbrella, because by default it is going to rain in some parts of Manali and Srinagar and in your hometown. So by default you will need a umbrella. Do not leave home without that, and at the same time carry plenty of woolen wear, because it's going to be cold and windy in Ladakh. Have a very good pair of shoes, because without that, traveling to Leh Ladakh is going to be a disaster. Sunscreen, lip balm, and your sunglasses are mandatory. So now till our next video, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay happy.